Welcome. If you like this content, if you want to see more of it, I implore you to hit the like button down there, the subscribe button, get your notifications going if you're into that, and possibly hit up the Patreon and become a contributing member to make all of this possible right now. Hi, and welcome to Comfortable Lives. I'm your host, Harry, and today's episode, Democratizing Hate. Welcome. Today we're going to talk about cancel culture and how it is materialized and some current examples. The main reason for this is to talk about what happened last week with the Squarespace ad, and I just want to weigh in on the whole idea of cancel culture and what is being done with it, so to speak. Well, to start, what is cancel culture? At face value, cancel culture is a way to encourage accountability. It's online shaming, ostracism. In the vaguest sense, it is inherently a non-centralized justice system. And it can produce good results. That doesn't mean it always does. It doesn't mean it usually will. It means it can. And we should keep that in mind, that the results may vary. Now, what do academics have to say about cancel culture? Well, they're kind of split down the middle. You have academics like John Haidt, who claim that safetyism in college campuses is the main cause of cancel culture, meaning that keeping young minds away from dangerous ideas causes a culture of intolerance to any ideas outside of what's considered acceptable socially. This is whether or not this is true is really a matter of opinion more than anything else. We have Keith Hampton, who claims that cancel culture is a polarizing factor in American civilization or American society. That also is apparently an observable phenomenon. We see it every day. The United States culturally is becoming far more polarized as time moves forward. It's scarily polarized at this point. So there's that. Other academics, Merrill, Harrison, Cunningham, claim that it discourages communication, that people in out-groups are kind of pushed to the side and forced to keep silent about things that they may firmly believe in, and stifles any type of conversation or communication between extremes, because the concern of loss of livelihood, of future opportunity, is a very real thing with how cancel culture has become a widespread issue. To be fair, there are academics that look at cancel culture in a positive light. Nakamura looks at cancel culture as a cultural boycott, more in line with the idea of woke capitalism, I suppose we could call it, where you're unofficially not engaging in business with people or giving people opportunities based on not sharing ideals. Perfect example of this would be the baker from Colorado that didn't want to bake the cake for a gay couple. I personally would not give them my business. I'm culturally boycotting them. And in a sense that is a positive thing. Having the knowledge to make that decision is a necessary thing. The other half of what Nakamura says about cancel culture is that it is the ultimate expression of agency. And also, this is not necessarily a negative thing. However, she further goes on to explain that it is bred out of a desire for control, mainly by a group of people who feel completely out of control of the world around them. And that's where things start to go sour. The reality is that people, and we the people here in the United States, do not have any control. We don't have control of the government. Sure, every few years you get to put a piece of paper in a ballot box, but it really effectively changes nothing. If anyone has any disagreement with that, I challenge you to tell me what has changed since last year politically. The entire control over the government has been handed over to one party, and we would think that we could get so much done in that party's agenda, and it's just more of the same, and it's been this way for decades. I personally think centuries, or over a century. So, to be completely fair, the people don't really have any control over the government. The government has control over the people and over the economics, and this is a way to give power to the powerless. And unfortunately, when you do that, you have a bunch of unintended consequences: divisiveness, total destruction of communication, polarization, silencing, and in general, though a decentralized accountability program would be beneficial, because not everything needs to go through litigation, and not everything needs to have a law, but left unchecked and left unmonitored, it becomes a different type of monster. Especially in a market-driven society where your market share may be negatively affected by not placating to a very loud, vocal minority on the internet. And now a word from our sponsor. And we're back. The first example of this comes from last week during the Super Bowl. For those of you who do not partake in American culture, the Super Bowl is a sporting event based around American football. It's the championship event. And advertisers utilize this very widely viewed in America event to promote their products. Super Bowl ads cost millions of dollars. It's a very large business to build ads for the Super Bowl, and the very largest and most lucrative businesses are able to afford those costs. Well, Squarespace did an ad with a re-recording of a Dolly Parton song done by Dolly Parton herself, and the song was 9 to 5. The retake of it was still called 9 to 5 from what I understand from the video I saw, but the chorus was changed over to 5 to 9, and immediately, almost immediately, a reporter then jumped onto the "I can't believe Dolly Parton would turn her back on the people like this. The song is about not working for the man," and da 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 da. All right. Well, if you actually paid attention to what was being translated in the message, a young woman is working a day job and is uninspired, unfulfilled, unhappy. So, through the course of the storytelling of the video and the song, the encouragement is to do your own thing. Now, those of you who know who I am, I run a small promotion. It's not even really a business, it's a charity that supports people doing their own thing. In the wake of the coronavirus pandemic, many people have been left without jobs, and I saw an opportunity to try to help these people. I dedicate my time, my energy, my effort, my knowledge to helping promote people with their non-employer-based businesses. Meaning, if you're your own boss and you need help with marketing, look up the network on Facebook, on WordPress. If you look up my YouTube channel, there's a bunch of videos from the network there. This is what I do. This is one of the things that I do to try to give back to the community. You know, and the entire video is the same thing. Squarespace democratizes being able to sell things. It gives the common average person the ability to make online transactions. These are important things to people who are starting out their own businesses, who have a shoestring budget, and that's what the song Change was about, and that's what the video was about. And this one reporter and then a group of people from Twitter decided to take the exact opposite take. They claimed, oh, she's glorifying the working for people. And the whole spirit of the original song was not glorifying the work, but showing the struggle of the workers. Well, I hate to break this to anybody who is unaware of this reality, but life is work. And that's a very fair statement to make. Even in the situation where you do not have organized labor and employers and employees, life is still work. Even for the hunter-gatherer living in the forest, life is work. And we can't escape that. You have to work to stay alive. We have much easier ways of doing that nowadays, but it's the constant human condition. It's life's condition, you know, survive. It's work. So, a bunch of people, and people I don't necessarily agree with on any stance, decided to jump on the bandwagon of retaliation against this reporter as well. So it's this online shaming and accountability. It's not a left or a right thing. It's not a Democrat or Republican thing. It's not a conservative or liberal thing. It's worldwide. It's global, politically speaking. So I'm not saying anyone is right or anyone is wrong for engaging in this, because everyone does it, and they do it to the ridiculous extent. Then they're wrong. If they do it to a logical extent, maybe we're looking at something that could possibly blossom into a fair way to move society forward in ideas. Maybe, but that's a sidetrack to the conclusion. So let's continue on. So who really was bothered by the remake of this song and this video? We've seen evidence of these people who looked down on anyone trying to change their situation. People who had families to feed, mortgages to pay, bills to pay, and stuff like that, were all looking to try to become entrepreneurs over the last year. The amount of people opening online businesses, online distribution businesses, online creation businesses, content-related businesses exploded over the last year, since the pandemic had taken the jobs away. The government basically closed, forced lockdowns. Some businesses willingly did it, but for the most part, the government forced lockdowns, and these people needed to learn how to survive without the employer-employee relationship. And that's a good thing. The people who are upset about the song are also upset about people who said, you know what, not for nothing, if I can't have a job where I work for somebody, then I'm going to make my own job where I work for myself. And I can't be mad at those people. They are doing the right thing. They're trying to survive. When I was growing up, owning your own business was a good thing. And being the owner-operator and having less overhead because you don't pay employees. And with the current paradigm of being able to have a business without a location, without an electric bill outside of the one where you live, without a distribution center, without any of these other logistics that you just don't need to worry about now, because everything has been moved forward with technology in a good way. The people who are hurt by this message were people who are against that, and I don't understand why, aside from the fact that they want to see people suffer. So I don't really care what they have to say, and I don't understand why anyone else does. We have to remember something. The person that these people went after, Dolly Parton, just in the last 10 years, she still has the literacy program going on in her home state of Tennessee. She is an active contributing member of the United Way, Save the Music, item donations. She's participated in Make-A-Wish. She had given $1 million of her own money towards research for the coronavirus, for COVID research. Animal rights. Back in the 80s, the LGBTQ community will recall that Dolly Parton was part of the push for HIV and AIDS research. And she actively, to this day, gives to charities supporting research for a cure. She donated $1 million of her own money to the Vanderbilt's Children's Hospital. This is a woman who, for all intents and purposes, is a saint, and someone who literally is a freelance worker this author is a freelance writer, to criticize someone promoting freelance work and owning your own business and doing the thing that you're passionate about just is ridiculous. And it shows like the bad face of cancel culture right there. There's really no defense of this writer and any of the minions who had rose up to support that idea. Period. Now, granted, the people who were detracting from the writer didn't seem to get the message either. They were like, "Oh, what are you talking about? Hard work? You wouldn't know hard work if it bit you in the ass. You know, sometimes you have to work overtime." That's not what this was about. This was about telling your boss to go fuck himself. There you go. Telling your boss, giving your boss one of these, and then saying, "Hey, start your own business. Become successful on your own terms, and get that financial freedom." And now, another word from our sponsor. And now we are back. We're going to talk about something that potentially is a little on the dangerous side, a little more risque, we'll say. Gina Carano. Now, the case about Gina Carano really has to do a lot with a long-standing case. What did she do? Well, she supported conspiracy theories. She mocked masking, and I don't mean wearing a mask. I mean she mocked the whole you should wear 2 masks, you should wear 3 masks idea that has been brewing around as of recent. She did not give in to social pressure about announcing what her pronouns were, and then when that pressure increased, she decided to say something about it. After being talked down to on her own Twitter, she responded with a comment calling certain people cowards and bullies, and finally, the straw that broke the camel's back was her relation to what's going on in the United States and the rise of fascism in 1930s Europe, or Germany in particular. So let's unpack this whole big mess, because it's a very large mess. So, as far as the conspiracy theories thing is concerned, right after the election, she had tweeted that the United States election process needed to be addressed. I don't necessarily think that's unfair. I couldn't find anything saying that she said, Biden stole the election, the Democrats this. She just said things that were pretty obvious. The election process needs to be redressed. Counting needs to be filmed and publicly accessible. We need to be able to see it. If you want to have trust in the elections, these are things that are going to happen. I don't trust the elections. I think it's all just a sham. But then again, you know, I'm a good student of history, so I understand how these things work in context. uh, you give people the idea that they have a voice, and then they don't, try to shoot you, and that's what elections really are about. If at any point in time they were honest, I don't know. I can't really vouch for the United States electoral process. There was a point in time where, people were considered 3/5, and people weren't counted at all. So, was it fair then? No. Did it get any fairer throughout the years? No, it's just gotten worse. To the point where no one really counts. The only people who count are the electors, and, well, that's a whole other video. We can just put that away now. The other thing that she got lit up for, and I find this comical, is she posted an Epstein didn't kill himself meme, which up until, I don't know, this year wasn't really considered a conspiracy theory. It was considered we have some fucking serious questions. A lot of shit's fishy about this. But apparently now it's a dangerous conspiracy theory, and you need to be afraid if you say these things. Questioning the procedures and the policies and the course of action that occurred when someone in a maximum security prison who was supposed to be video surveilled 24/7 manages to hang himself in his cell while under observation. There's problems here. There's things just don't add up. The fact that we haven't heard boo about Epstein's partner, Ghislaine Maxwell, in well over a year since she's been arrested. I don't know. I don't know why questioning this is now considered a dangerous conspiracy theory, except, that people just didn't actually give a shit. The reality is nobody actually chased any of those leads, and having questions is healthy skepticism of the processes that we use for justice in the United States. So there you go. You have two very vanilla things that people are citing as her being problematic. Now, the whole announcement of the pronouns thing. Now, granted, I fully support people's right to express their gender and their pronouns any which way they so choose. But that doesn't mean that everybody needs to announce their pronouns. If we don't accept that there is a factory default, there is a factory default in our society. You have a long way to go before you're actually going to ever change that. And it's not going to change because a celebrity decided to put their pronouns on their Twitter account. That's not going to cut it. It's decades of education that are going to change that, and you're really fighting just the wrong battle there. However, in response to her not announcing her pronouns, because she identifies as she's a woman, she identifies as a woman, and she uses the culturally indicated pronouns of a woman. She, her, hers, whatever. Because of the fact that she doesn't fall outside of that social paradigm, she just didn't feel the need to put them up. Well, what had happened was the Twitter social media machine decided to then start berating her, start attacking her personally, because she wouldn't bother to put up her pronouns. And so she reacted to this because she felt that she was being bullied, which is a fair understanding there. They're attacking her because she won't comply with them. That's being bullied. You know, when you don't give your lunch money to somebody and they punch you to take your lunch money, that's being bullied. Well, when you won't comply with a group of people and then they decide to start harassing you online, that's bullying. It doesn't matter if you feel that your cause is just. It's been said before in media, and I've said it as well. Everyone thinks they're the hero in their own story, especially the villains. So, in this sense, her reaction to bullying was all a cause of concern that she was problematic because she wouldn't allow people to bully her. And this was also seen with her response to the Black Lives Matter movement. And everybody knows I'm a staunch supporter of human equality. I believe that part of the Black Lives Matter agenda is wholly righteous. You know, you can't tell me that people of color were not treated poorly in this country. You cannot. There's no real argument for that. You cannot tell me that that people of color are not treated unfairly by police. That is, and the justice system as a whole. That's a fact. It's not an opinion. When the question arose, and I don't even know what the original tweet was because I can't find it. When the question arose about her being needing to be educated to be put on the right side of history, her response was to the effect of, if you're going to constantly call me a racist when I'm not, you're not educating anyone, you're being a bully and a coward. And again, this is a case of someone who's being consistently attacked and then saying, I'm not going to let you attack me. And because she's being consistently attacked and saying, I'm not going to let you attack me, it causes all sorts of problems. It's painfully obvious. It's a problem if you're not going to let the masses just direct how you feel. Now, I'm not going to repeat word for word what she had said about 1930s Germany and the historically accurate comment that she made about the real rise of fascism. To be fair, it's if you don't know the real rise of fascism, then I would suggest you do some history work on yourself, because the reality is it's a horrible thing. Now, that being said, nothing that she said was inherently anti-Semitic, even though she was lit up as an anti-Semite. What she did was she equated the popular treatment of a targeted subset of 1930s society with a targeted subset of contemporary American society. And the funny thing is everyone has sorts of opinions of how this is history repeating itself. Some people are so invested in the idea that the Republican Party is Nazism that they think this is the calm before the storm, so to speak. Meanwhile, others are looking at this as this is the storm. This is the really bad thing that's about to start happening. People are being treated like they are not human, and that is inherently going to lead to atrocities, like it has every other time in history. So, with that said, we really need to be more careful, I guess, in how we look at this, because not to get on that subject, but she does have a point. So do the people who have the opposite point. But is it something worth destroying her career over? I think it's 100% out of control, and I don't really see a positive end in sight for this. And now, a final word from our sponsor, the Sacred Agora. Welcome back. Now, let's button this up, shall we? Well, where accountability and freedom of association are concerned, online shaming is a useful tool to instigate people moving forward with their ideas. The idea that people, based on the color of their skin, are less human than others is something that should be thrown in the dustbin of the past. The idea that people who worship differently than others should be hurt or vilified or beaten or made to convert is an idea that should be thrown in the dustbin of the past. None of these things are good. None of these things are great ideas. But knowing that people have these ideas allow us to show the rest of society that it's not a good idea. If you're going to hold these ideas and you're going to promote these ideas, you're going to fail. That's a fair methodology. I had a business idea that I called Armas, ARMAS, that never really got off the ground, about a decentralized accountability, a reputation management program where you do business. If people like your business, they give you positive reviews, and this builds your reputation. And instilled in this program was going to be an arbitration service that, if you did have a problem with a member business, that you could demand arbitration, and then a third party listens in and what have you. This is decentralized accountability, decentralized repercussions for poor activity. And granted, this was business-based, not socially based, so it had more to do with making sure that you were a better business than your non-member competitors. It was an assurance, so to speak, that when you're dealing with this person, you're getting a good deal. I'm not the only person who understands that cancel culture is a dangerous tool. Two people. One people generally like a lot, and one person generally nobody likes. Both agree with me. Both of them have the distinction of being former U.S. presidents, and they do not share party. This is coming from former President Barack Obama and also former President Donald J. I'm a giant fucking Cheeto Trump. Both of them noted that cancel culture is a dangerous tool. Barack Obama had said that cancel culture is a dangerous tool, that everybody, regardless of their ideas, have flaws. And you can't really target people just based on their flaws. A lot of the people who have these flaws, they have many commendable things about them. and you can't just completely destroy their lives without having an actual conversation. And well, Mick Cheeto dumbass said that cancel culture is totalitarianism, and it's potentially going to be used to silence political dissent. And this was not said this year. This was said well in the past, during his presidency. So let's be abundantly clear here that I'm not alone in understanding that cancel culture is a dangerous tool. It's just as dangerous as having a gun. Is a gun a good thing to have? Yes. For personal defense, a gun is a good thing to have. Is online accountability, is decentralized accountability a good thing to have as a society? Certainly. But you don't go outside and fire your gun off into the air, just like you don't destroy someone because you just disagree with a certain idea that they have. There's that. This has gone on for quite some time. This is probably going to be my longest comfortable lives ever. So let me just end by giving you the comfortable lie. Obviously, the will of the masses is going to be completely just and fair, and that anyone that they decide to silence is justified, because they're infallible. They make no mistakes. Their hive mind just drops from heaven like so much manna. And if you believe that, I got a bridge to sell you. Everybody out there, stay safe, be well, and I will see you next Tuesday.